Hi everyone, my name is Tosin George. I'm a data scientist living in Lagos, Nigeria. I create tutorial videos around data analysis, data science, and machine learning. I'd like to say a big thank you for your likes, comments, and subscriptions based on my past video. I do appreciate your support in my journey as a data scientist living in Lagos, Nigeria. As you can tell from my screen, today we're going to learn how to create portfolios on GitHub. If you do not know already, GitHub is a cloud-based platform where developers can store, track, and collaborate on software development projects. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to be creating a portfolio, basically like projects you worked on and like to show to the world. So let's just get started. I'll start with an introduction into my own into my own profile, and then together we'll create the online portfolio. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with the avatar you can see here. This avatar is where my logo is. Basically, GitHub gives you an avatar, but I've changed my avatar to this logo I created on Canva sometime. And right under the avatar is where we have the editing profile. So you want to make certain changes to your profile, you want to change your name, you want to change your location, you can basically do that in the profile. So you can see my name here. There's a bio, there's a space for bio, but there's a small description here, which I'll talk about very soon. So I didn't think that there was a real need to put in a bio. So I have my pronouns, the company I work for, I didn't bother to put it here, but I live in Lagos, Nigeria. So you can see my local time. If I had a website, I'll put in the link here. And for social accounts, I'll put in the link to my LinkedIn. I'm basically more active on LinkedIn than any other social platform. Yeah, call me very serious, but that's the most used platform that I have. So I'll put that link here and then you can just save it right away. If you were to make if you want to do more elaborate changes to your profile, you click on the avatar again and you see a lot more spaces or a lot more things that you can make changes to regarding your profile. So, but I'll not be doing that today. So I'm just going to focus on public profile, which I've already done. So I'm going to update that and then we'll go to the next part of what I want to show you. So let me go navigate straight into the overview of my profile so we can continue from there. So you can see this is the overview again. This was the short bio I was talking about. So this comes with every GitHub account. So the logos here, the format, the way this looks, comes with the GitHub account. So you basically just edit. So I go to edit, I click on the edit icon and then you can see all of this here. If I were to, or you can see the logos here. This logo, it comes with the GitHub profile. So you don't, I think you can add some more. Obviously you can add some more, but I'm fine with what I have here. Before making changes, you can use the preview pane to see how it looks before you commit the changes. But this looks well, so that's fine. But I can just put in something so you see how it works. So let me put in, I love eating because I do love eating sometimes. Okay, so what you do is to commit that change. And yeah, you can see I love eating right here, but I don't want to put that here so nobody thinks too much of what I eat. So I'm just going to take that out. So if I go to my profile, I should be able to take that out. So I come here, go to the edit icon, and you can pretty much put a lot more stuff you want there, but this was just an example, so I didn't need to have it right there. So I do that again and do commit changes so that, all those changes are saved right there. So great. So I love it in another part of it. Okay. So now let's go back to another part of what this profile looks like. So if you go back here, so you can see pinned projects. So these projects are basically called repositories. Repositories are like a collection of your projects or whatever you have on GitHub. So you can create as many repositories as you want, but I have a couple of repositories here, but I've only decided to pin the repository that contains my projects. So you can come to customize your pin here. So you can see that a lot more stuff I do have here. I've tried to just pin the data science project so that anyone that comes on my page or my profile can I just want us to sort of focus their direction on the projects. All right, so that's that for the pin projects. You can definitely pin more, but this is just what I would like to pin. Then for contributions in the last year, this is just like a summary of your actions or your activities on GitHub. And basically, contributions are just like changes. So if you make any change to your profile, it will be counted as a contribution. If you upload a file, it will be counted as a contribution. If you make changes to description, it will be counted as a contribution, sort of. So these are the contributions I've done in the past year, including this year as well. I came on GitHub in 2021. By the time I was still sort of just learning, getting into tech and understanding what it meant, and but by late last year, not late, by early last year, I was quite invested and more intense with my learning journey in data science. So early this year, I started to do more contributions, created my online portfolio, and all of that. So you can see a summary of all my contributions on GitHub. The contribution activity is basically just more detail as to how many commits you made, when you made them, and all of that good stuff. So this is just a brief overview of what my profile is about. So we're going to move on straight into repository and then going to learn how to create an online portfolio. But before we go to creating a repository, let me take you through my own portfolio of projects. So my portfolio of projects is embedded in this repository called Data Science Projects. So I'm just going to click on that, and then you see the projects that I have there. So this is my repository, the Data Science Projects, and there's a README file here that basically does a brief summary or introduction into the files that I have in my data science project repository. So you can see that I have sort of, categorized them into different spaces, into different sections. So there's a section for machine learning projects. So these are the projects I did in machine learning. I've also included a link so that when you click on it, it leads you directly into the project. So you're not trying to figure out where this is, where that is. That's why I've included a link here. So this was a project I did, or the hackathon I did on Zindi. And then I did this income classification project with a group of young women, amazing young women, by the way. Then I did something on data analysis. I did these profitable English apps. It also definitely involves data visualization, but I consider it more as part of data analysis, right? So that's why I put it here on that section, data analysis. Then there's also data visualization. If you've been following me on YouTube, you will have seen a couple of videos on the review financial data set visualization using Power BI. So this is a link to that as well. Then I also, the tutorial video, yeah, I put that here too. This is basically just a link. So this is not lodged in GitHub per se. So you'll not see the video on GitHub. It's just a link to the YouTube video. So when you click on this, it goes straight into YouTube. So as you can see here. So let's go back. Then this is another section called challenges. I partook in a 50-day Python challenge, and it's not necessary for you to have it here, but I just had to put it here as one of my projects. So I'm still working on a couple of projects, and I will add them as soon as I'm done with them. So, but this is basically what my online portfolio is like. I'm also going to teach you how to create these folders. So because as you upload projects, you find a lot of them here, right here. So that's not difficult for someone to get a hang of what the project is about. I'd prefer to, sort of put them into folders, and it's neater and it's easier to navigate through. Another thing you can do is to create another repository, right? But for me, I think I'd prefer to have all my projects in one repository. So that's it for an overview of my online portfolio. So now let's go on to creating an online portfolio. So let me go back to my overview page, and then I'll navigate to where I have repositories. Sorry there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is to create a repository. So you can see in the right-hand corner, the new icon here. So I'm just going to click on new and then create a repository. Like I said earlier, a repository is basically a collection of your project, of your work. So because I'm not doing a template, there's no need to do this here. So I'm just leave this as it is. Then I'm going to select an owner. So I'm definitely the owner. So just put to St. George. So in your own case, it will just be your name or whatever name you name the entire GitHub account. Repository name, I think I'll just name this projects. So I have that there. It could be more, but it's up to you. I'll just name this project. For description, let's call this a collection of my work. It can be more than that, but I'll just leave it for the purpose of this video. I would definitely like to make this public so that anyone on my page can have access to it. Then I'll also be creating an add README file. So an add README file is where it's basically a markdown and you can in my own case, I use a README file to create an introduction to my projects. And I think you already saw that previously, a few seconds ago, where I used the README file to show the projects that are in my repository. So you'll see how I'll use them. So that's all the changes I need to make here. And I just click on create repository. So my repository is being created at the moment. And right here, voila, we have our project repository. We have our README, and this is what it is. And see right here, we can make changes and, sort of introduce whoever's coming into this repository into the work that is inside it. Okay, so now that we've created our repository, I'll start by uploading the projects that I've worked on. Then we can now focus on the README file to put an introduction and a brief description of the project. So now to upload our file, what are we going to do? We're going to go to the top here and click on add file. So I'm going to click on the arrow there, click on upload files. I'm not creating new files. These files have been created already and they're my local system. So I'm just going to go there and upload the files. So I'm going to do choose files. So the first one is this Portable Mobile English app. So I'm going to open that and then it will upload here. Perfect. So I'm going to name this maybe data. What should I name this? Maybe DA project, data analysis project. So I'm just going to do that there and then commit the changes. So you should find that now in our project repository. So you can see that here. Okay. So let me go and do the other ones. Upload files. Okay. Let me choose my file quickly. Financial inclusion challenge. It's an ML project. So it's uploaded already. I can call it ML project. Okay, I'll also commit that change as well. So that should be here in a minute. Okay, it's right here now. I think I have 3 more files to upload. So the third rather is the income classification project. So I did this with a couple of women. So let me call this ML project as well. It could be anything you want, but for the purpose of this video, I just decided to use something really short. Okay, so you can see that that's also there. Then let me add the 4th file. That's, let me choose file again. And the 50-day Python challenge I participated in. Okay, so you can see that's here. Let me call this challenge. Or challenges. Okay, that's just challenge. Okay, so we commit that change as well. Okay, now to the last part of things. Upload, choose file. So if you've noticed, all the files I've been uploading are the Jupyter Notebook files. But this will be financial data sets is a PDF file. It's basically an export of my slides from Power BI. But you also see how it's done. It's also a very easy process. The same way I've actually been uploading the others. So I'm just going to open as well. And then you see the file here. I can call this data visualization. So let's call that. And then I also commit the change as well. Okay, so I have all my files uploaded, neat and beautiful. So now I can now come to where I have this my README and sort of create like an introductory paragraph of the projects I have here. So let's go to the edit icon, click on that, and then you can start to make some changes. So I've just realized that I put collection of 9 work. So let me just change that to my work. We're going to be pretty much using the preview pane so that we can see how these changes are coming. Okay, so I can just say a collection of my work. In your case, it could be more, but for this video, I want to make it short and sweet. So I won't be doing too much so that you can, get the idea and then apply in your own, on your own GitHub account. So the first thing I want to do is to type in content. So you know that in Jupyter Notebooks, we basically use hashtags to tell the heading, right? So I want to reduce the font size of the next title. So I'm just going to do two hashtags, 1, 2, and then I'm going to type in content. Right. So I can see how it looks in my preview pane. So you see, look at how it looks. It's definitely much smaller than the project's title. So let's go back. That's what I want to have, the content. I can put a brief description, but I won't bother. So I will just sort of put a bullet points and then highlight the projects I have there. So to do a bullet point, you just need an asterisk. That's it there. Then I'm also going to use smaller titles. When I mean by smaller, I mean the font size. So you can see there are two hashtags for this content title. So to reduce the size of the next title, I'm going to use 3 hashtags. You can use the same number of hashtags for all the titles, but I just think it's better to use it that way. So it's up to you how you want this to be done. So here I'm going to do ML projects. Okay. Let me quickly check my preview pane. So see how that looks. Nice and easy. Okay. So under the ML project, I'm going to highlight the projects that are actually there. So I'm just going to do one. I know that I have the Zindi Financial Inclusion Challenge. Okay, that's not been spelled properly. Financial Inclusion Challenge. Okay. I also know that I have the income classification project. Okay, so that looks great there. So you can see this, it's looking good. So, but what I'd like to do is to create links into this title, meaning that when people click on the titles, it gives them direct access to the projects. So they don't have to start scanning through the repository and figuring out where the Zindi file is in. Because in many cases you will have a lot more projects in your repository. So I'd like to put links there. So when they click on this link, they can just have easy access there. So to create a link, we're going to put our title in square brackets. Okay, so that's that there. And then the link to that file will be put in this round brackets. So this is how it's going to look like. So you can see that it's highlighted now. If I click on it, it won't go anywhere because there's no link there. So what I'm going to do now is to commit this change and then go and get the link to that file. So let me commit these changes now. This has been done. Then I go back to my projects and then just right click on that project. If this is the financial inclusion one, and then copy the link address. Then scroll down and then click on the edit icon. Okay, so right now I'll put in this inside, right? And then put it like small description. Okay, my description can be the objective of this project. It can be anything, but I want this to be really short. The objective of this project was to predict whether a person will have a bank account or not. So you can see that. So let's quickly go to preview and see how that looks. You can see how it looks. Okay, I need to create space so that there's a difference between the description and the next item on that email projects. I will do that. You see it now. But I quickly want to test that this financial link works. So I'm clicking on that now. Okay, 1 minute, please. Let me commit these changes. Okay, so that has been committed. So I'm going to click on that now. So you can see it leads me directly to that file. And you can see my project and my work here. Okay, so let's go back to projects and continue with the what we were doing on the README. So I'm going to edit this again and then create some space in between this so that, yes, there's a difference. for income classification project as well, I'm going to put that in a link. So I'm going to put this in square brackets and then put the link in round brackets. I'll quickly commit this change and then go and look for the link. So what's this link? I'll right click on that, copy link address, scroll down, go to the edit icon. Okay, control paste. Okay. So then I can put in my description. I'll say this project was designed to predict whether a U.S. citizen will make an annual income of $50,000 or not. So, but in my original portfolio, I did add some more information around the libraries that were used, some of the methods that, were involved in carrying out the project. And I think that that's a useful description. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just making this really short and sweet. I'll put a link to my GitHub profile so that you can go and check and see how I've done mine. So that's that for this. So these are the projects I've done under ML. That's machine learning. So the next thing will be to identify another section for data analysis. So I'm going to put in my bullet points and then 3 hashtags, and I'm just writing DA projects. Okay. So the first one I did there was profitable English apps. So I'm going to quickly type that in. This also be highlighted. So let me do that quickly. And then this would be here as well. Okay, let me quickly write the description, then I'll go and get the link. So analysis of over 15,000 apps to determine the most profitable for Google or the Google Play Store and App Store. Yeah, that's basically it. Okay, so let me commit these changes so I can go and get the link to that. Okay, this has been done. And you can see how it looks already. So let me get the link to this. I go to my project. Then I right click on this, copy link address, scroll down, edit icon on the README, and then I put in my link. Okay, I can commit changes and then test if that link works. So you need to be sure that it works. You don't want to put in a link and no one can access what you put in there. So you can see that led me directly into that. Okay, so let's go back to projects again, and I did the README file. So this is what I'm doing. The next thing I want to create another bullet point for is data visualization. So I'm just going to put in here 3 hashtags, data visualization. Okay. So what do I have there? I can put in README financial data set. Let me put this in square brackets already, since I know that I will be linking it up. So README financial data set visualization. Perfect. What else would this be? Just to make it a short description, I could say visualization of the README financial data set. It's basically a recap of what's in the title. Visualization of the README financial data set. Okay. All right. So that's that there. So let me commit these changes and get the link to that. Okay. So I'll go to projects and Where is README? So README is it's a PDF file. So I'm just going to copy the link there and come down here and be sure that the link fits right into this contract. Okay, great. So now this is the last section, which is challenges. Okay, so one under that is 50-day Python challenge. Okay. Square brackets as well because I want to put a link to that challenge. So I'll call this my attempt at a 50-day Python challenge. That's it. It could be more, it definitely should be more, but for the purpose of this video, we're making it this. So let me get the link to that. But first, I need to commit the changes. So I commit changes, I go to my projects, and then yeah, this is it. So I right click, copy link address, and that is it. So go to edit icons, and then put in the link in the curve bracket. So I've pasted that there and that's it. So I can also just check review to see that, it's looking the way I want it to look. Another thing I'd like to add is I want the titles to be in bold. So to make it bold, I'm going to put the title in 2 asterisks. So you see what I'm saying now. So this is 2 asterisks, 2 asterisks. So let's go to preview to see how it looks. So you can definitely see that there's a difference. So this looks bold. This, it's just usual. I can see that there's a difference here. The description is not directly under the title. You can leave it like this if you want, but just to make it a little more uniform, I'm going to be making changes to that. Okay, so let's go back to edit file and then make those changes. So we're making this, putting it in bold. So it sort of stands out better. Let's put this in bold as well. If you don't want to put it in bold, it's completely all right. But I think it's something to know. So I'm just going to click enter so that there's some space between the title and the description. I'll do the same for this. So let's put it in bold now. Same for this as well. And then I create a bit more space so that there's a difference between the title and the description, or there's some space rather. Okay, let's also put this in bold. Put that in bold too. Okay, then commit changes. Okay, so if you look at this, this looks just the way we want it to look. I could test the 50-day Python challenge just to be sure that it will lead me right into that. So we can see it's right there. So let's go back to projects. And so that's how to, sort of create an introduction, especially when you have the README file there. So something else we should learn, or I'm going to just talk about right now, is creating folders. So I presume that I'll be having more projects here, but I want to sort of, categorize the projects into folders. So what I'm going to be doing is to click on the file with whom I want to create a folder for, or with which I want to create a folder for. So let's have the first file. So this is the 50-day Python challenge file. I want to create a folder called challenges. So I'm going to click on the 50-day challenge as you have here. And then I'm going to go to where you have the edit icon. Just beside the edit icon, there's an arrow there. You click on that and you click on edit this file. Right. So this is what you have when you click on editing the file. You see the original raw file. So I'm going to come to where you have the name and then type in the name of the folder that I want. I want the folder to bear challenges. So be challenges. And then I'm going to type in /. So once I type in a /, you can see that the folder name has been created. Once I backspace, I have it back. Okay. So if maybe you want to make some changes, you can do that here. Or put in a / and then you have a new folder. So that's basically it. And then you commit the changes. So you can see that You can see now that this 50-day Python challenge file is now in the challenges folder in our projects repository. If we go back to our project repository, you can see the challenges folder, and you can see that the 50-day Python challenge file is no longer here. Okay, so now let's do folders for this ones as well. So I'm going to just click on it really, and then go to the same edit icon just beside it. I'm going to click edit this file. Okay, so I'm going to come to where I have the name. I want to name this folder ML projects. Okay, so I put a / to create a folder. If you want to make any change, just backspace and make changes there. Okay, so now let me put a / so I can have the name of the folder back. So I have that there. And basically, I can make changes. It's that easy and straightforward, nothing difficult. So now let's go back to projects so I can create folders for the others. So this income classification project is also an ML project, right? So I'm going to be putting it in this ML project folder. If you check our ML project folder, you can see the financial inclusion challenge that we just created a folder for. So let's go back to projects and put this income classification in this. But one thing you should note is the name of the folder. So my folder here is ML projects, and I want to put this file in the folder. So I'm going to click on the file, and then I'm going to click on edit this file. So remember the name of our folder there is ML projects. So ML projects. If you don't get the correct name of the folder, you'll be creating another folder. So be sure that you have the name correct. Okay, so we have that, and then we'll commit changes. Okay, so let's just skip some time. So right, we have income classification project in ML projects now. So now let's go back to projects, repository, and see. You can see that the income classification ML projects no longer here. It should be in the ML projects folder. So voila, we have it here now. Okay, so now let's go back to projects, create another folder. I want to create 2 more folders, one for this file and one for this other file. You don't have to create so many folders, but I just want to. So it's up to you how you want this to go. So I'm going to click on this file as well, and then going to click on edit this file. So it's already editing. Oh no, it's when you click on edit, this is what you have. So let's put in a folder name. Let's call it DA projects. So put in my / so that I can create a folder, and then I commit the changes. So very straightforward, nothing difficult. And if you go back to projects, you should see that this one is now right here. So that's the profitable mobile English apps. So it's now right here. So that's how to do it. So for PDF files, a bit different because PDF file, it doesn't have, you can edit it, right? Because it's not the usual Jupyter Notebook file. So you may not be able to apply the same methods we have been applying to this. So what are we going to do? We're going to go back to our project repository. And then we're going to go to where we have add file. So this is add file. So where you have, now click on create new file. Okay, so create new file and then type in the name of the folder. So I'm going to call this folder data visualization. Such a long name. Then I'm going to type in my / so that I'm creating a folder. And then with creating folders in GitHub, you can't really create empty folders. There has to be like a file in it. So my Ruby file is not here now. I can easily type in the name, but I realized that it doesn't work that way. If I just type in the name, I need to copy the link and all. And when I copy the link and paste it here, it doesn't really work that way. So what I usually would do is to create like a README. I can create a README file here, and that can be deleted later if you want. So, but just so that we have something in our folder. So this is what I would do, particularly if I'm uploading a PDF file. I know that for your folders, you can also create for the other folders we've created. You can also put in a README file and still upload your other what's the word, your other files as well. So I'm just going to come straight down here and commit new file. And yeah, so now we have project, they have data visualization folder under projects, right? So I'll come to projects now. Okay. So what I basically do in my own case is to now upload this on projects. So I'll basically just upload this on projects. So I'll choose my file again, maybe financial data sets. Yeah, I can call this README data sets. Okay, so then commit the changes. Yeah, and voila, you have it there. So this is how I really would do my own online profile, right? It's basically that if you don't want to see this here, you can just click on it and you can delete it. So because we already have it in that other folder, so it's not necessary. So I'll just delete here, and that's it. Commit the changes and you delete it. So let's go back to our project. Okay, we're right here. You can see it's no longer here. But then if you check data visualization, you have your README financial data set. So that's basically how I would go about creating an online portfolio on GitHub. So I do hope that this will help you in creating your online portfolio. Like I said earlier, I'll also put a link to my GitHub profile so you can go on and check the projects I've worked on. If you have any questions or any comments, I always leave in my email address so you can easily email me or send me a message on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for listening to or for watching and listening to my video. I do hope that with this video, you can also create your own online portfolio projects on GitHub. All right. Thank you so much. To have a lovely, lovely evening. Bye bye. Thank you.